Hair colors, nail polish, measurement for your CAT card. The Army Directive for wear and appearance does not cover beards.
Part of the problem is our process is too slow. And troops out in the formation are confused as to what does right look like.
What's coming down for our soldiers, because as we've learned and as we know throughout your career, we have many, many decades of the career here between the three of you. Soldiers care about a lot of things, but high up on those lists comes things like pay, time, PT, which we talked about last time with Sergeant Major Molinax, and uniforms and physical appearance. Those things, I think, top the list of every soldier. And so now we're looking at, in the next short order, there's going to be a new Army Directive coming out, which is centered around Army Regulation 670-1, and there's going to be some changes. And so I appreciate the opportunity to come down here, hear it from the source about what we can expect, and really dig into that. So I guess we got to start with what's coming out is the Army Directive. So what's the difference between Army Directive and Army Regulation when we're talking about 670-1? And I think Sergeant Major Nabors, they said you were the expert on this, so let's jump over.
I don't know about expert, but I can answer the question, absolutely.
I'm smart enough to know to bring talent. I'm smart enough to know. I know my strengths and weaknesses, and I bring talented sergeant majors to help me out.
Well, don't worry, the SMA is getting the blue book out, so it's covered.
I believe it. So Army Directive, right? I think it starts with the courses of action that we had to present on how we were going to get the gap of information that we landed with having a gap of knowledge. There were ALARACTs that were published off of a Army regulation for 670-1. The last published was like in January of 2021. After that, the Army published subsequent 4 to 5 ALARACTs that since expired July of 2025. So how do we bridge that gap with information for proper wear of appearance, and also adding grooming and body composition and things like that into an Army Directive? And that was kind of the approach that SMA kind of gave us, was like, hey, here's some COAs. We can get the Army Directive done a lot faster to bridge the gap of information. And then we can simultaneously work on the revision of AR 670-1. So there's two main efforts going. Just one is going to get the information out there a lot quicker. So the Army Directive is the way we decided to go.
So at SMA, you've spoken a lot over your time in the seat about the establishment of the warrior ethos, this war fighting culture that the Army really has to focus on at this inflection. It really is an inflection point. We can talk about Army culture in a minute, the multi-generations that exist within the force, and the knowledge gap that has to be passed from the GWAT generation down to the next generation of soldier. When you look at the standard that exists across the Army, those regulations, these directives, they set the foundation. So why now, in your mind, was this the time to do that?
Yeah, and truth in lending, the revision of 670-1, and to Sergeant Major Nabors' point, it's been ongoing for a while, and that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is our process is too slow, and troops out in the formation are confused as to what does right look like. And so you knew I'd break it out, because it's always with me. This is really the next step. This AD is the next step in the journey of removing ambiguity and allowing soldiers to know what the standard is so that they can enforce the standard. So the feedback we've been getting, and I got it immediately, and I got it before being in this job too, SMA Grinston likewise, was, hey, I don't know what standard is. The Blue Book helps us have the one place to go. The digital one really does, right? Which this AD is going to merge a bunch of things, one place, with some, we're not calling them annexes, we're calling them enclosures. So there's one place. It is the source. We removed as much ambiguity as possible. This is the human space, so everybody's a little different. It's really hard to make it perfect, but it's a lot cleaner than it's been in the past. And oh, by the way, it happened in short order. The force is hungry for it. And I know Sergeant Major Kupratty will talk about this from a 4th ID. He just came out of being the 4th Infantry Division CSM. He'll bring it up. They're hungry to know, like, enforce what? It's not clear what the standard is. And so that at those lower echelons, which you remember, like do I step in and engage? Do I not engage? The soldier's confused, the leader's confused. And so that's exactly why we did what we did. We couldn't jump on that in the first 6 months. The Blue Book was step one, but it's time.
Sergeant Major Kupratty, as the SMA said, you came from 4th Infantry Division, so I'm a former Fighting Eagle of 1/8 Infantry and in 3rd Brigade. So that was my first, that was my PL time. So my first unit.
That's a great formation.
It was a lot of fun. It was also 2005 when I got there, and so busy. Yeah, in short order, I got there. My battalion commander, you might know, his name was Jeff Martindale. He had just gotten there, had spent his career prior to that in Ranger Battalion, subsequently immediately fired the platoon leader who I replaced, and because I had a Ranger tab and he didn't. And so that was an awkward first day. But that was his, but we talk about standards. That was his standard. And he came in and he said, we're going to Iraq. I think we had 6 months at that time. So we're going to Iraq in 6 months. We're going for a year. It was like, I have 3 or something. And he said, every platoon leader in this formation is going to have a Ranger tab. And you got 2 choices. If you're already here, we're going to send you back. If you pass, you keep your platoon. If you fail, you're out. If you choose not to go, you're out. And every person who comes in who has one between now and then is immediately going to a platoon. And I think I happened to be the first guy that showed up after that policy.
Hey, Fran, there was nothing in what he said there was no ambiguity in that, was there?
No, it was very clear.
It was pretty clear, wasn't it?
Very clear.
That's where we're going again.
Yeah.